don't you think?
Hello everyone,
I
welcome,
wonder who
welcome,
else is free.
welcome. I'm doing a small little video here. So this video is going to actually talk about what the things you need to do before Snezhnaya. Snezhnaya is in less than 2 weeks, and how you can know is by based off this timer. We have 2 weeks before Snezhnaya. What should you be doing before Snezhnaya gets released? Well, if you have not been staying tuned, Snezhnaya is actually getting released a patch early in such and such. On top of that, if you are someone that has not caught yourself in the story, these are the 10 things you guys gonna need to do. At least the first 5 things are for people that have not caught up in the story. The last 5 things is what you need to do once you are caught up in the story. Number 1, catch up on the story. If you are a new player starting right now, the story you should be going off is doing Mondstadt story quest, Leeway story quest, then the sibling story quest. Okay, specifically. Then you should, if you wanted to, you can do Mona's character story quest if you reach that high level. But then you go to Inazuma. Then after Inazuma, you do the story quest for your sibling. Then you go into Sumeru. Once Sumeru is done, then you do a character story quest, not character, sibling story quest. Then you end up doing a character story quest called The Wanderer, which is actually part of the Sumeru story. If once done, then you do the Fontaine story quest. Once you're done with Fontaine story quest, um, then you need to do Arlecchino story quest, character story quest. Once that is done, then you can do Natlan story quest. Once Natlan story quest is done, then you can either do Skirt story quest, which I recommend you do, then do the sibling story quest. Then once your sibling story quest is done, then you do the Inefa story quest. Then once you're done with the Inefa story quest, you can then go into Not Cry story quest. Once Not Cry story quest is done, then you can do the latest story quest of Sumeru, and then you can do the event with Sandrone and Fontaine. That's the order of the story quest you should be doing. Uh, I'm pretty sure you could do during story quest, but I don't know if you do have to. But that's the order of the. And then once you're done, you're all caught up, and then you can do Snezhnaya. That's how the order of the story should be played out if you don't want to miss out on anything. Number 2, maximize your resin output. To maximize your resin is by just logging in and just using your resin for XP books, for talent domains, weapon domains, even fighting world bosses. Doing that, maximize your resin. Even if the world boss you don't need, as long as you get the resources from that boss, that way when you do pull a character that uses that resources, you can eventually build that character. Number 3, character story quests. Like I said, that's what I've talked about the story, so that is kind of intertwined with 1 and 3. But you can also do some other story quests, like the Archon story quests. Um, when I say Archons, I mean Venti story quests, Zhongli story quests, Raiden Shogun story quests, those type of story quests. Just to play a little more lore factor in the story for you. Number 4 is doing world quests. World quests are being overlooked quite a bit, due to the fact that they sometimes even give you weapon blueprints. Sumeru especially. There's a world quest in Sumeru that if you do the world quest, you can basically unlock the blueprints for certain weapons. The same with Inazuma. So keep that in mind. And the last thing for the players that are still doing the story is by leveling up the Statue of the Seven. Leveling up the Statue of the Seven is like a must need because it increases your maximum stamina to 240. That allows you to explore the map more efficient without having to worry about um, combat, climbing things, and stuff. Eventually, there are characters out there in the game that gets released that kind of makes the stamina less valuable, like Veressa, Melvika, stuff like that. Um, that being said, but those are the first 5 things you guys should be doing before Snezhnaya. Those, especially for those that have not caught up the story. Number 6, for people that has caught up the story, is farming regional resources. Go around and farm regional resources. Because just like Snezhnaya came out and everyone did not have the resources for Snezhnaya, but her resources been out since Fontaine came out. Due to the fact that she came out almost two entire nations later, you're able, getting the resources might come in handy, even if you don't need the resources or you're not planning on pulling a character anytime soon. Pulling those resources do come in handy, especially if you can make the leveling up for that character so much easier instead of having to be like me and spend several days, like about a week, maybe more, to max out Snezhnaya. Number 7, farming weekly bosses. There's 2 weekly bosses in every region in the game. Uh, Keep that in mind. There's 2 weekly bosses in every region in the game, besides Mondstadt. Mondstadt's the only nation that has 3 weekly bosses. So keep that in mind. Farm the weekly bosses to help you get some some of those materials to allow you to craft weapons and sometimes even change the boss drops for certain specific characters. Number 8, level up your characters. If you have nothing else to do, leveling up other characters, because eventually other characters are getting buffed, and at one point, a character that you might have under level, I didn't have Chi leveled up, and she got an insane buff, and I leveled her up all the way up to 70 just to get her and use her for my team for Snezhnaya. So leveling up characters might be something. Number 9, pushing for the highest reward for the in-game content, being like Stygian Onslaught, um, Spiral Abyss, and Imaginary Theater, because those are primo gems you're potentially missing out on getting for newer characters in the game. And number 10, farm the latest artifact set for newer characters. Snezhnaya is coming around, and it's always going to be, its whole theme is about stellar reactions. Stellar Swirl, Stellar Conduction is the 2 new elemental reactions getting at it. And the new domain, called the Domain of Blessing, Flowers Feast, gives you the Descent in the Deep Shadow. It's a stellar conduction artifact set that will eventually be used for the newer characters for stellar conduction damage. If you have done everything besides 8, 9, and 10, you could do 8, 9, and 10 in any order, but farming this artifact set will help the new later cryo characters and electro DPS characters be added to become stronger in the game. Characters like Raiden Shogun might actually be able to use this once we get characters that synergizes with her while they're off field in Snezhnaya. So this might actually be a new artifact set for Raiden Shogun. So I just want to let you guys know these are the 10 things you need to do before Snezhnaya gets released. And I know these are just rapid and I'm not showing you guys what I'm doing. I'm just pointing out these are the 10 things you should do in the next 2 weeks. Today is the July 28th. So in 14 days, we will get Snezhnaya, and it is going to be the biggest, if not largest nation in Snezhnaya, not in Snezhnaya, in all Genshin Impact that gets added to the game. That means more content, more story, more characters, and potentially more rewards. So stay tuned for that. This is just, I wanted to get this video out to you guys before it was too late. I've been really actually putting this off the side. I've been under the weather, and I'm still a little bit under the weather, but I wanted to make sure I get this out to you guys. I hope this helped you guys get yourself ready and prepared for Snezhnaya. I will catch you guys in next video. Bye-bye.